Okay, welcome back, everybody. It has been a hot minute since we did one of these, but figured we'd get one on right before the championship week. I was going to have Arthur on last week, but he forgot and I got busy. But now this week we have none other than the, great Zach. How's it going? Handsome.
Yeah.
Beautiful, sultry, sweaty.
Yeah. I'm pretty sweaty, yeah. It's going good. Jake, how you doing?
I'm all right. Hey, thanks for taking over doing the guest podcast there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sure thing. It's always fun to make an idiot out of myself.
Oh, I thought it sounded great, and since I was probably the only one that listened, I mean...
Tanner said he listened, so that made me feel good. So at least two of you did.
Hey, I bet there was more, but... we are going to do just kind of probably mostly talk players in this one, especially because it is the championship week. You did manage to snag yourself a spot in that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we do, quick recap on this last week. You obviously beat Masochistic Monkeys to push your way into the finals. Maybe beat Bear down for Balls Deep in what I think was probably a pretty sad showing for him. Dark Knights did beat Selenia. Chubbawamba lost terribly to Sea Chicken Chokers, and Steel Dynasty in their final game of the season managed to secure 5th place, leaving Clunge Plunger at 6th. Thoughts or reactions from this last week?
I was pretty happy, obviously, to pull out the win. It was nice to actually score a bunch of points in while my team was actually playing, because the week before I scored like over 200 again, but it didn't matter. And yeah, I was kind of hoping Tanner would pull it out over old Deshaun, because I think Deshaun has a really good team and he's got a lot of great matchups this week. And now, I don't know, I'm not super confident going into the championship, but we'll see how things play out.
Sure. Well, and we will talk those matchups more in detail at this point. I did kind of want to talk about Bear down for Balls Deep just a little bit. This last week, he only scored 138, which for most of us, that is essentially double our average score. But for him averaging, I mean, most of the time looking into the regular season, he started off strong, 153, 179. There's a 167. The lowest he did all season was only 114. So that 138 just, at least to me, kind of felt out of the blue.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to fault him for not playing like Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron Rodgers kind of killed him there. He started off hot, but yeah, I mean, leaving that 20 plus points on the bench with Herbert still wouldn't have done him any good. But and that's not really a move that you can fault him for. I think Herbert going in with an injured Keenan Allen, injured Mike Williams, you couldn't have expected that kind of performance out of him. But yeah, I mean, between Rodgers and then T.J. Hawkinson throwing up some negative points, that just kind of sunk him.
Yeah. Funny story about Herbert, actually. I played him in my other league against Sean this week, and I still lost. So that was pretty cool. He played, the likes of Tannehill and Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs, and so I got crushed. But rough week for a lot of people. Chubbawamba included. She got utterly demolished. Her team just kind of did nothing this week, I believe at the lowest score of her season. Do you think that's going to happen again as she goes into the toilet bowl?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. That's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm pulling it up right now, sorry.
You're good.
I don't know. I like her team. I like the matchups that she has. She kind of had some rough matchups last week, but I think it's actually going to be a lot closer. I see Selenia has a few Seahawks on their team, and as a Seahawks fan, I pay most attention to them, obviously. I don't like any matchups for them this week against the Rams. So I think Chubbawamba has a real shot at pulling out. I don't know if you'd call it an upset. She's actually favored right now, but it should be a good week. And then, of course, it kind of depends on if McCaffrey actually comes back so she can get those Mike Davis points. But
yeah, absolutely. We are going to hit the rest of those matchups momentarily, but before we did, I do want to talk pick 'em a little bit. At this point, Sean is sitting at 44. You are sitting at 42. The only two really in the runnings for that one. I believe both of you already have your picks in at this point. Are you feeling confident you're going to be able to catch him, or do you think he's going to run away with that one for, I believe, the third year now?
I think he might have it. Honestly, I was kind of banking on those picks being in already. I was kind of banking on those being his.
Yeah.
So I just went opposite, except for I think one, because I think it was Deshaun and I, that matchup. And I'm not going to pick myself and jinx it. So I think we lined up on that one. But every other one, I just went opposite.
Yeah.
I might be a little more honorable and pick with my head rather than my heart. But we'll see. I mean, there's still time during the week to change it.
Oh, that's 1,000% what I did last week. I definitely saw what everybody had put in, and then other than, like you said, other than my game, I pretty much went opposites just because I was like, no, if this is the only shot I get, I'm gonna get that shit shoe if I can.
Well, and you should have went with your team.
Yeah. Well, the one time they all decide to show up, that's after losing, another 2 running backs, but.
Yeah, well, I know that game. I'm losing receivers left and right, so.
Seriously, we should just get on a team together, and then it would just be,
It'd be an empty roster. Just filled with IR players.
Yeah, maybe we would counteract each other. I don't know. But did want to wish you a good congratulations, too. I know you were knocked out this last week in the survival pick, but making it to week 15. That's pretty impressive, sir.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Rams kind of killed me on that one. I picked the Rams to beat the Jets. Should have seen that one coming. But yeah, that was my strategy for most of the year. Once I started seeing where the Jets were going, just pick the team that's playing the Jets.
Yeah.
But I did another survivor pool for, I think it was CBS, and I'm still actually in that one. And I picked Baltimore last week to beat Jacksonville. So I'm still alive in another one.
Dang.
But
well,
not that anybody cares.
I think it's impressive. The furthest I ever got, I think, was like week 8. So the fact that you're literally double that's impressive.
This is by far the furthest I've ever done it or made it. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did mention, you were a resident Seahawk fan. I do want to talk about that matchup with the Rams now. This last week, with a lot of us having, I know Akers went down, but I mean, between the receivers and everything else on that team, I mean, what happened to the Rams? Do you think the Seahawks can match that and kind of get them stopped, or what'll happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hit or miss with the Seahawks. I feel like they can never put together a complete game as far as offense and defense playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the year they've just been relying on their offense because their defense has just been shit. But they've really started coming around, getting healthy, a few key acquisitions. So I think their defense can hold up against the Rams, especially because I don't trust Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's, if you get enough pressure on him, he gets rattled. But what I'm most worried about now is the Seahawks offense. I don't know what it is, but Russell Wilson just doesn't want to throw the ball. He holds on to it way too long. And then when he does throw it, it's kind of inaccurate. So, and then plus he'll have Aaron Donald in his face all game long. So
that's true. I mean, it's sad. I was looking back and I didn't even notice last week against the Jets. I mean, maybe it was because Cass was on bye, but 4 touchdowns and an interception, 200+ yards for Russell Wilson. That was his best game since week 9.
Yeah.
But
does it really count when it happens against the Jets?
Yes.
Well, it counts. Okay, fine. But that's like he got sent down to the minors and hit 3 home runs.
No, okay. I see what you were doing there. It was because you picked the Rams against the Jets. You were trying to say it doesn't count because you went against the Jets. So that's what you were trying to bring it back full circle. I see what you were doing.
Yeah, I was just talking strictly fantasy there, but
work with me here.
Sorry, man.
I'm kidding. All right. Well, we're going to move on, though, just because I know waivers are running tonight into tomorrow. Without giving away your game, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this posted tonight or anything like that, But what do you think is going to happen waiver wise? Is there, I mean, Henderson, is he the big pickup, or Bell, Fournette? I mean, what do you think here?
Yeah, really, all of them are in the running. I just saw that Ronald Jones Jr., or the second, I guess, isn't likely to play. So, I mean, Fournette would be a good pickup. They're playing Detroit, the worst run defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of them are in the running to be picked up. And, for a team trying to avoid last place, I would look at all three of those names, and I'd even throw in Savon Ahmed. I mean, if you look at his projections, I think Yahoo has him at like 3 points or something like that. But I don't think Myles Gaskin is coming back this week. And if he does, I don't know why they wouldn't want to just ride the hot hand in Miami.
Yeah.
So that might be a sneaky one too. But, I mean, honestly, full disclosure, I'm not really looking to pick up anybody. I think my roster is probably as good as it can get, unless I wanted to make one of those like gambles on like a future hold.
Sure. That was actually my next question, because I do know that you are currently the leader when it comes to pickups this year. I think it was Hayden last I checked. He was one of the closest to you when it came to actual moves. You're at 45. He is at 41. Are you going to throw in like 4 or 5 there just to make sure you retain that frequent shopper?
No, because I don't know if that's really a title I want to have. It makes it seem like I really don't know what I'm doing. But you got to remember, I've had a lot of, like most people in the league, I'm not just going to make this about me, but had a lot of injuries. So it's a lot of put this guy on IR, pick someone up for the week, drop him because you can't keep a questionable player in your IR spot, yada, yada, yada.
Dude, so don't get me, like, I know I was texting you about it this week, but I tell you what, whoever is on the board at Yahoo running the stupid designations, and I know he or she listens to this, and I'm calling them out specifically, but what the heck it's ridiculous. This last week, I swear to you, Christian McCaffrey went from doubtful to out, back to doubtful to out, and then I got a notification that's like, well, we're not really sure what you're going to... Just leave him on out. I don't know what you're doing. Like, I'm literally in the process of trying to pick somebody up. Stop fucking with my emotions.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I don't even know if it's Yahoo, because I play in a couple ESPN leagues, and it's kind of the same thing. I think for some reason there's like something going on with the coaches this year that are trying to be real coy with their designation for injured players. But it's like when it's clear as day, like, oh, this guy's not playing.
Yeah.
So you have that guy sitting questionable probably all the way up to Saturday, and you're just watching players get picked off the waiver wire, or, mainly like the handcuff. I'm sure you've been going after guys like Mike Davis or, maybe Wayne Gallman.
I mean, you want to go after guys like that. I mean, it's like I even had Madison at one point, and then obviously Dalvin Cook went down for like 3 plays, and I was super stoked because I was like, yes, that futures pick really worked out for me. And then he came back, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I have to move him, but I can't do anything. So like right now, I can't put in any waivers because Antonio Gibson is listed as questionable, Christian McCaffrey is questionable, Zeke is questionable. It's like, all right, I need one of you guys to go on like out so I can actually do some moves, because at this point I can't do anything.
Yeah,
but
you already know Antonio Gibson isn't playing.
No, absolutely, and same thing with Christian McCaffrey. They've already been saying like, yeah, he's not looking likely. So it's like, again, they're playing with my emotions. So
yeah, just you too.
It is so targeted, but I mean, not to get the innuendo like already out in the open. But I am definitely looking forward to next year's The Dark Knight Rises, like innuendo going. But I mean, we'll see how it goes.
I fully believe that a competent man such as yourself will bring your team back to life next year.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, the other player I did want to talk to you about, just because he is so interesting, quarterbacks. This last week, obviously, Derek Carr went down. Now, Marcus Mariota is sitting there. He has said that he is the backup and he is reserved for that. But are we going to see a change in Las Vegas?
I don't think so. I don't think. I mean, he's probably going to be starting this next game, and then maybe the last regular season game. I mean, depending on how old Derek Carr's groin is feeling, but I think a lot of that has to do, or a lot of his success had to do with the fact that who are they playing?
They were playing the Chargers.
Yeah, so the Chargers didn't prepare, or they didn't have to prepare for Marcus Mariota and his scrambling ability. You know, they game planned for Derek Carr, and they weren't expecting their backup to take over. And I think a lot of that just caught them by surprise, or just you're underprepared.
Sure. Well,
but I do think he's a viable player, especially for like a 1 week rental if you really need a fantasy quarterback.
Even against Miami, that's who he's playing this week.
Yeah, and I think it's because of the rushing ability. It's such an overpowered thing. Like quarterbacks getting rushing yards is just, it's like a cheat code. Look at nobody wanted to play Jalen Hurts in his first game against New Orleans.
Yeah.
And why would you? It's a great defense, a rookie quarterback who hasn't really, obviously his first start, and he dominated them, and a lot of that was on the ground.
Yeah. Yes, he did. And I very much enjoy it now. But all right, we're going to move on over into the matchups for this next week. Starting down in the toilet bowl, we have Chubbawamba versus Solana, and then Masochistic Monkeys versus Bear Down for Balls Deep for that third place game. Wow, these are all not in order. I am sorry. The one that should have been mentioned before that was for the more important 7th and 8th game is Dark Knights versus Sea Chicken Chokers, which I want to talk about in a second. I have an interesting idea for that one. And then the last one, probably a little more important, I guess, is the championship, maybe just maybe, versus the Flaming Moes. Current projections sit 165 to 161. What are you going to do to guarantee that win?
Whew. I don't. Do you think her crew still doing what they were up to in the old 94 Winter Olympics? Go out and take some of Deshaun's players' knees out? I don't know.
I was going to say
I'm not super confident.
I'm pretty sure Eli tried that earlier this year with Sean, and he's got screws in his legs now. I mean, it was a water bottle is what he blamed him, but I think Sean was maybe just a little afraid of. I don't know who would be afraid of Eli, but maybe he was.
It was a very well placed water bottle. I think that was a setup. That was an inside job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not confident in this at all. I mean, if you look at our matchup, he's got a great roster as it is, but he's also got the better matchups player by player. Like if you look at my team, all my matchups are just bad.
Okay, so we are gonna break this one down a little bit just because it is a little more interesting. There's obviously money on the line, but okay, so Patrick Mahomes fire every week, but he is against a weirdly good Atlanta defense. Versus your Lamar Jackson against the Giants. Now, Lamar did just kind of have a little bit of a poop resurgence, and he is kind of all over the place now. I think that'll be closer than you think it is. Obviously, again, Patrick Mahomes is straight fire, but Lamar Poopy Pants Jackson.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're referencing now. Nice. Yeah, that one actually, I was looking to. Atlanta's defense is definitely coming on, but I mean, there are players that are just matchup proof, and Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate example of that. But I was looking ahead, and the weather forecast for that game is calling for rain. So, I mean, I'm hoping that slows down the cheetah. I'm hoping it slows down, all their receivers.
Yeah.
But if anybody can throw for 500 yards in a rain game, it's going to be Mahomes.
Yeah, but I mean, really, if you're looking, Adams obviously is fantastic. Brown is great too, but you also have Corey Davis. They are going against Green Bay, and that's a Swiss cheese of a defense if we've ever seen one. Montgomery, Jacksonville, but you also have Dalvin Cook versus a pretty beatable New Orleans run defense. Andrews, Waller. I mean, if you're looking at these just straight down the middle, this is going to be a heck of a matchup. Now that I said this, Obviously, somebody's probably going to get hit in the kneecaps with a bat, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're underestimating New Orleans defense. They're ranked 32nd in the league against running back,
is that
which is good.
Oh, okay. So I thought you
They
meant
are the
32nd best.
Yeah, sorry. They are the best against running backs, and that sucks. And I mean, Dalvin Cook's had a rough schedule the last few weeks, and he's managed to pull it out. So again, I think he's also one of those matchup-proof players, but I have to cap my expectations.
Yeah. Well, again, waivers does go through tomorrow, so we will see how the rest of, how that all pans out. We are all curious, waiting with bated breath. Now that third place game, Masochistic Monkeys, bear down for Balls Deep. Another one of those games that who knows what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, and that one, yeah, it's not as close as I think it should be. Again, because any team with Derrick Henry, I feel like he's just going to go off for 40 points and probably carry the team. I would. I'm glad I didn't say anything last week, but I would kind of advise Eli to get Kirk Cousins out of your starting lineup and put in Tannehill. What more does he need to do to prove that he should be your starting quarterback on your fantasy team? Again, glad you didn't do it last week, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's hoping for that Cousins Thielen stack, but when he's thrown to Jefferson 60% of the time, come on.
Yeah. Well, and maybe he's for the lower draft pick, which I think that's where I'd be going if I was in this spot. That's usually my game. I try to make it. I try to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Honest about it, I guess. I still, if I'm in the third place game, I'm trying to win, but let's just say I wouldn't be too sad if I lost that one.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I was texting with old Castifer a little bit. I don't know if that's his full name. We're just going to go with it.
Sounds right.
But we were chatting because he did obviously just lose both his running backs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, doubtful to play this week, as well as Mostert is now, looks like he's officially on the IR. Oof. So he did lose both his running backs, and he said, well, I wonder if he can just take a loss this week just because he, assumes nothing's going to happen there. And I suggest, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because at this point, Hurts is projected at 31.14. Russell Wilson is projected at 31.25. I say he and I should just bench everyone except for our quarterbacks and see which quarterback, just rely everything on just that quarterback game.
I think that would put you at a really unfair advantage.
To win?
Yes.
Yeah, but now we're both shooting for that draft pick.
Okay, so what, you don't want to win?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those where it's like if Russell Wilson has one of his, week 1 through 8 games where he could potentially score, what was his high point? Like 60? Something like that? Averaging 40, 45 in the first several weeks, whereas, we've seen what? Hurts 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Come on, Dallas looks pretty good.
Yeah, they look great. I think Hurts is not only going to be great, I think he's going to have an awesome week, maybe another top 3 quarterback week, but
sure.
I don't think Russell Wilson is going to have a good week at all.
All right, how about this one for a better bench everybody except for the Rams wide receiver. He's got Woods, I have Kupp. See which one does better. Just leave it all on the field. One player, winner take all.
I was just looking at that. That one is more. That one's more intriguing for sure. I think that would because that one's so unpredictable that I like that one.
Yeah, all right.
That's a fair one.
Well, I mentioned it to him, and I don't know that we're gonna see anything about that one. But the other matchup, obviously, we do need to chat about a little bit is that Toilet Bowl. Chubbawamba versus Solania, currently projected 139 to 135. What do you think on this one?
Yeah, again, I like I like Chubbawamba's matchups a little more. The only thing that I would maybe try and change up is maybe get a different quarterback in there. Got P. Rivers going up against Pittsburgh. I know they looked pretty bad last night, or the Monday night game, but that's one of those games that Phillip Rivers just like crumbles under, and the Steelers are going to come out. And yeah, I would avoid that. But other than that, I think Chubbawamba stacks up pretty nicely against Selenia. I mean, I think it'll be close, but I actually like Chubbawamba in this one.
Yeah. So obviously, big hypothetical here. If you do manage to take the championship trophy second time in 3 years, that's a big accomplishment in and of itself. Have you thought at all about punishment?
No, I mean, I did this morning. I was thinking about it, but one, I don't want to jinx myself. I don't want to get way ahead of myself when the game is yet to be played. So I haven't thought about punishment or what I'm going to add to the trophy. But I did think about the thought of having to come up with a punishment, and just like this sweeping feeling of dread came over me because I am so bad at shit like that. So I don't know. I might be asking for some input, and it also kind of depends on who loses, because I can make Arthur do some things that I probably can't make Haley do. So
yeah, either way, I mean, if you made one of them take the SATs, I think both of them would do fantastic.
I'm sure they would.
But all right, there was one other thing I did want to mention. Obviously, it is a ways out, and we have a whole bunch to go through. There's the Super Bowl, the NFL draft, all the fun stuff. Keeper declaration. Now, it is a little early, but eyeball that August 14th weekend for a potential draft, assuming, whoever loses, and we can work it all out, but just something to start thinking about. But, yeah. Do you have a couple bold predictions or anything you want to throw out here?
Ooh, yikes. On the spot again.
Got to keep you on your toes, man.
Yeah, well, you sure are. Yeah, I don't know how bold it is, but like I said, I think Chubbawamba is going to win the toilet bowl matchup. Yeah, I'm kind of looking. I haven't even really thought about this week much because it's so early in the week. I wouldn't be surprised if, because of the matchups that my players have, that my team ends up looking like fucking 10 pounds of shit stuffed in a 5-pound bag. Like,
I like that analogy. I thought you were honestly going to say like the Dark Knights versus any team this year. That's what I thought was.
No, let's not make things personal.
It's fantasy football, man. Everything's personal.
Well, your team looked good last week, so
when it didn't matter. That's how it always works, though. It's fantasy football.
Oh, it mattered. You don't have to do a punishment now.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, though. I had really resorted in my mind. I was like, all right, I got a punishment coming. I gave one last year. I got one coming this year. It's like, okay, but now I got to think of the 0 pick. And I was thinking of some pretty cool 0 picks. I'm not going to give them away, assuming I might ever have to do one. Not likely, though, but just in case.
Yeah. Well, or, I mean, if Haley ends up losing and, I mean, you're going to keep it in the household, you can always give her some of your 0 pick ideas.
No, she would be trash at all of them.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess you are trying to gear it toward yourself.
Yeah, no, she was talking about it the other day. I'm not supposed to say anything, but she doesn't listen to these, so don't tell her. But she was talking about potential. I mean, she's like, oh, I don't know what I can do. And then all of a sudden she was looking online and noticed the Backstreet Boys are going to go for a tour this next year, assuming COVID lifts. But she was looking at all the tour dates and she's like, interesting. And I was like, no, hold up. I'm pretty sure both Tanner and Zach and probably Hayden could lay down some Backstreet Boys, tracks or anything like that. Trivia. Oh. You never know with these guys, but
I could karaoke the shit out of I Want It That Way.
Yeah. So I don't know what she has planned. And as soon as I said that, her face definitely sunk. So, I mean, we'll see what happens if she does take that L.
Yeah, well, whatever tickles your taint.
All right, sir. On that note, as you do look to go into the championship week, do you have any trash talk that you want to throw out there, or you want to keep it on the DL until you get that potential win?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not super confident, so I feel like the only trash talk I could throw down is the trash talk to my own team. Maybe it'll motivate them, but I doubt it. I don't know. I think I'm just most happy that I've already kind of come to terms with the fact that I'm probably not going to win. I made it this far. Don't want it to ruin my Christmas. So,
well, it has been a heck of a run for you. I believe the initial projections had you right around where you are. I know you've scored approximately 2,000 points last I checked. Yeah, 2,021 points. They had you right around 2,100 points for the season. So right around that projection. So it's a pretty solid achievement.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good sign. I scored 2021. Next year, 2021. There's a correlation there.
Yeah, but
I don't know what it means. It's just fucking nuts.
Even worse is you've had 1,920 or 1,920 points scored against you. So
was that another pandemic year? I don't know.
That was a head scratcher. So on that note, sir, I appreciate you chatting with me here. We will definitely get you on again once we get into, obviously, off-season chats and look to keepers and top scorers, all that jazz.
Cool. I look forward to it.
All right, so thank you so much. And everyone else, until
Conversations, it gets